In this exercise, we're going to modify the phone using the Properties palette and the Move, Copy, Break, and Mirror commands. I'll begin by deleting these first two phones, and then I will move this center button on the remaining phone over 0.75 inches or 3/4 of an inch using the Object Properties palette. And I can get to the Object Properties palette by selecting the circle and then right-clicking and choosing Properties from the pop-up dialog box. The Properties palette will come up. We can also get to this Properties palette by typing in Properties at the command line. Notice in the Geometry tab of the Properties palette, it gives me the location of the center of this circle, the X, Y, and Z coordinates. To move it over to the left, I would go to the X coordinate, which is currently 8.75, and subtract out 0.75 or 3/4 of an inch, giving me 8. So I'll type in 8 and then I'll hit enter, and watch what I do. Watch what happens to the circle when I do this. It moves over by 3/4 of an inch, 0.75. Now I'm going to close the Properties palette and I'm going to use the Copy command by typing in Copy or going to the Modify panel and selecting Copy. I get a pick box. I'll select that circle. I'll hit enter when I'm done, and then using a base point in the center of the circle, I want to move this circle over to the right corner and also to the center. Here again, I'm going to use Object Properties to enlarge the size of this center button from the current diameter of 0.5 to a new diameter of 0.625. I can also get to Object Properties by going to the Properties palette and clicking on the down arrow button here in the bottom right corner. From the Properties palette, again in the Geometry tab, I will go to the diameter, which is currently 0.5, and I will type in 0.625. And immediately my center circle or button enlarges in size by 1/8 of an inch. Now I want to move this entire phone over to the left-hand side of my screen, and I'll use the Move command, which is on the Modify panel, or I can type in Move. I'll put a crossing window over all of the objects in the phone that I want to select. I'll hit enter. I'll choose a base point in the bottom left corner, and then I can either type in a displacement or I can just click a second point, and that's a displacement point. I now want to create another copy in the center, so this time I'll use the Copy command. I'll select all the objects, hit enter when I'm done. I'll choose another base point, bottom left corner. This time I'll type in my displacement. I want there to be a 1-inch gap between the two phones, so I can type in a displacement of 3.5. It's 3.5 inches. And notice it leaves a 1-inch gap between those two phones. Now I want to add an arced surface for some grips on the vertical sides of my phone. And to do that, I need to break out a distance of 3 inches on each side of the phone. I can do that using the break command from the Modify panel, which is located right here, or I can type in brake at the command line. I get a selection pick box. I'll pick that line, and then notice the command line has the option of selecting F for first. I'll type in F, enter. This allows me to pick my first brake point, which I'm going to pick right there. Click. Then I'll move down 3 inches, counting my grid spaces, and I'll click my second point. Click. And as soon as I do, it breaks out a 3-inch distance. I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll type in brake to get back into brake. I'll select the line. I'll hit F for the first point option. I'll select my first point here, click, and my second point 3 inches down, click, and I've broken out a second point. Now, using the 3-point arc command, you can just type in arc if you'd like. I'll click here and I'll click here. Those are my 3 points, and I'll do that one more time. First point. My second point is down halfway and then over 1/4 of an inch, 0.25, and my third point is right there. And that completes my second phone. I'll make a copy of this phone using the copy command. Type it in there. Select all the objects. Enter. I'll choose a base point. For my displacement point, this time I won't type it in. I can just use my snap in my grid to move it over 1 inch from the existing phone. Click. Now I want to change my grips here, so I'm going to remove the arc and I'm going to make new grips using the spline command, which is on my draw panel here, or I can type in S for spline. Click, 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 click. There's my grip. Now, instead of doing that all over again, I can use the mirror command, which is on the modify panel here, or I can type in mirror to mirror over this spline. And I'll select that spline, I'll hit enter, and then I need a mirror line which mirrors it over. And mirror works great with anything symmetrical. In nature, there are a lot of things. Our face is symmetrical. A lot of plants are symmetrical. But you have to have that mirror line. So I'll click in the center, click. That's my first point on the line. And my second point, click. And then the command line asks me, do I want to erase the source object? The default is no, so I'll just hit enter for no, and it keeps that source object. And I've completed my third modification of my phone.